back. You're still tuned to Our City. Before the break, Babalwa Kuma gave us a roundup of today's news. With me now in studio, I'm joined by Neil Slater of the Safe Freeway Project. This is the network of concerned commuters looking out for each other's safety. The project started off as a Safe N2 project and has grown to more than 8,000 registered members in the space of a year. This project is now also covers all major freeways in the Western Cape. Neil, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Hi there, Lucy. Thank you for having me.
Now tell us more about the project. How did it come about?
Well, it is almost exactly 2 years ago. At the end of this month, it'll be 2 years ago when a very tragic incident happened on the N2. A warrant officer Halls was on his way to work in the early hours of the morning, and he drove over something that damaged his wheels. And as he got out to assess the damage, 2 thugs came out from the bush and they stabbed him to death. And so he was found dead next to the freeway that morning. And that is what gave birth to this initiative of people helping people. So we started a small WhatsApp group, and that is basically how we started, and it just grew from that. All interested people who wanted to be part of this network, we had them join a database, and within a month we had over 6,000 people interested in being involved in this.
But in terms of new people coming in, how do communities join you guys?
Well, basically what happens is it is very easy. You go to our website, www.safen2.co.za, and on there you'll be able to either click on a button that takes you to a download of our app, and then, or if the app is not doesn't work on your phone, then you can just register on the website and put your registration details on there, and then we will put you onto a WhatsApp system.
Okay. Now, when one is part of the system, how do you keep safe? Like, how do you warn the motorists to be on the lookout for hotspots and stuff like that?
Okay, so basically how it works is the entire system is built on a people helping people concept. So we will have all of these commuters out on the road. They will then, if something is spotted or if anybody sees anything, they will report it to us, either via the app, you know, our app called Sateria, or also through the WhatsApp system. There are other systems also used. Facebook is also quite a strong medium that is being used.
Okay.
So that information will then come through to us. We will then validate that, and then in real time we will send that information out to our network.
Okay. Now, so far, would you say this has made a difference?
Well, I definitely think so, yes, because a lot of people, they get information now in real time. And knowledge and information is quite important because it gives you power to be able to decide how you're going to travel. It's all about, I think, we need to move over and shift to intellectual commuting, you know, where we plan our routes, especially in our area in the Western Cape, where we are uncertain of what's going to happen on the roads, because it is very fragile. At any moment, anything can happen on the freeways. At one moment it might look good, but then as you travel on the roads, there might be something that's going on. So as we send out these notifications, you are able to go through the app and see in the app, are there any incidents, has anything happened, and through that you'll be able to decide, okay, now I'll wait a little bit, you know, especially if there's maybe fog on the road or something that's creating congestion or something like that. Yeah.
Now, if you look in terms of the police, what role can they play in terms of making sure that such project is successful? Do you link with the police, or it's only about the motorist?
Well, actually, as a matter of fact, over the 2 years that we've been going on, we have, behind the scenes, built a very powerful and a very strong network. So we are linked in with a lot of role players, which include the Metro Police, which includes provincial traffic, the Safe Freeway Management System. All of those things that are put in place to help us, we have networked with them, and we are able to call on those resources to be able to help should the incident require that.
All right. Now, there was media reports about an incident that happened over the weekend whereby a child was almost abducted in one of the so-called hotspots. When it comes to the hotspot, explain more on that. How do you identify those?
Sure. Okay. Well, along the N2, from, I would say, Somerset West to just past the R300 is a hotspot. Okay. So it is not advisable to stop there at all. When you break down, it is important to get help as quickly as possible. And if you are able to let us know whatever, we can then, in the background, we can help and we can get people to be able to assist as quickly as possible so that you're not alone next to the highway. So you also have Borchard's Quarry, that is a well-known hotspot.
Yes.
And the most important thing I would say is if you're in a hotspot or if you're in an area where you don't feel safe, be vigilant. Always be vigilant and know your surroundings. Look around you, see what's going on. If someone is walking or if there are people walking around, then, you know, if possible, report it. Or if it looks like as if they are getting up to mischief or whatever, make a noise. Because a lot of times it is causing that attraction that will frighten them away. Or that'll make them a little bit more wary to approach or to do things, because incognito is more their modus operandi rather than, you know, having attention on them.
I see, I see. So when you make the noise, then they're able to be
a little
bit distracted.
If you would see something happening, like a smash and grab in front of you, then it is highly advisable that you just honk your hooter or just make a noise and draw traction.
I see. I see. Well, this evening we are zoning in on the prevalence of smash and grabs hotspots in Cape Town, and our journalist Sinolwazi April recently sat down with MACOM member JP Smith and asked him to shed some light on where these hotspots are and what constitutes such a crime. So let's see.
Surge in these specific type of crime?
I don't know that we have a surge. What you have is a steady presence of smash and grab incidents on certain hotspots. Jakes Gerwel is a notorious road. There are now 3 hotspots on Jakes Gerwel. The worst is the intersection of Blue Gum and Jakes Gerwel between Bonteheuwel and Langa, particularly with people fleeing into the Kosovo informal settlement and across the lane into that Zone 32, I think it's called, informal settlement across the road. There are a lot of hiding spaces and a lot of spaces to get away on the other side of the canal. So the smash and grab hotspots happen there very quickly. Another big problem is at the intersection of the R300 and Jakes Gerwel, and also down the R300 for the first kilometre or so. And the last one is at the intersection of Jakes Gerwel and Voortrekker Road next to the Maitland Cemetery. And we have issued press statements around this and put up warning signage to tell people. You'll see SAPs and Metro Police vehicles parked there almost continuously. But it is such that if the vehicle is pointing this way, they will commit the robbery 100 meters behind the vehicle in the opposite direction. It is and be gone in a moment of seconds. If you see the footage, and we've posted some of the footage on the internet, you'll see that it's a crime that happens in split seconds. And it's not possible to keep pedestrians away from the road because it is a place where people are allowed to cross. So the smash and grabbers intermingle with the people who are crossing there and then attack them. And it happens in seconds. They pull a brick or stone out of a pocket or something, smash the window, grab whatever and run. And that's why we have awareness sessions there where we recommend to people not to leave valuables on the dashboard, on the front seat, or where visible. And when we do these awareness sessions, you'll see that a good 40–50% of the people have valuables lying openly where you can readily see them. And then we ask them not to. We also use the CCTV cameras there to do enforcement. And so you will see that we've effected quite a significant number of continuous arrests. We put out press statements once a month about this, and we're continuously doing 4 or 5 arrests every month around this. The problem is sometimes with the conviction process, and that we see that the culprits are given parole or bail the moment or very soon. So we had one young man who received bail and while he was out on bail committed the same offence again. That's the young man who was shot by a Metro Police officer. When came out on bail, the Metro Police officer chased him into Old Flats in Langa. They ambushed him. The Metro Police officer defended himself, shot one of them. That young man was shot 3 months later by a member of the public when he attempted to grab stuff out of her car and he attacked her. She shot and killed him. It was an incident that received a lot of publicity. So we are doing constant enforcement there at great peril to our officers. SAPs have a flying squad vehicle standing in close proximity responding. It is a major crisis. We also do enforcement where we're not visible on Jakes Gerwel, but visible behind that, and where we respond from within the area to which they run, rather than trying to chase them. and we try and track them with the CCTV cameras. We've offered rewards for people, so we've canvassed in the area with pamphlets offering rewards to people to tell us where these individuals are, and some of that has borne fruit. Local community members who also hate what is happening have come forward and informed us about the whereabouts of such smash and grabbers. There's another hotspot at in Elsies River. We have at the intersection of 35th Avenue and Owen Road in Elsies River also, and at the intersection of 35th Avenue and Roberts Boekwe Road in Bishop Lavis are also two other hotspots that get our constant attention. And these are the main problem with this crime is how incredibly quickly it happens. And you know, there should at no point should you have to live in constant fear of crime. Our country is in a very bad state. You should not have to constantly think, what am I doing that exposes me to a risk or crime? We should be able to live free. With the advent of democracy, this was one of the promises that we believed, that we would live in a country with less fear of personal injury, with a greater promise of safety, and that promise has not materialized, and it's in part about how national government is running the police service and the lack of investigators, and the fact that these criminals who commit these kind of offences are able to get off. They are rarely arrested, and when they are arrested, they're not effectively prosecuted. So they commit these offences over and over, and that's part of what leads to the Bundu courts, the mob justice incidences, where the public become disillusioned with the criminal justice system and do their own thing, take law into their own hands.
Welcome back. I'm still joined by Slater from the Safe Freeway Project. According to the South African Police Service crime stats, there are more than 1,400 vehicles hijacked each month here in South Africa. Neil will just give us a recap. In terms of avoiding being hijacked, can you give motorists some tips on how to go about in doing so?
Well, the first thing that I would say is be vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings, 100%. Don't ever let your guard down, especially when you're slowing down. Now, a lot of people think that that might be on an intersection or on an off-ramp or whatever, but a lot of times in the morning as you're traveling on the N2 and the traffic starts build up on congestion, then and it slows down to almost a stop. We've had where people use that as opportunities to do smash and grabs as well. Another thing that I could also say is always keep a following distance with a vehicle in front of you. A little bit of movement on your car can do a lot when an incident is in progress. And then I would also say hide things or put away everything in your car that looks like that can be attractive to other people to break into your vehicle. I've heard of an incident once where a lady had a smash and grab incident, and at the end of the day the assailant ran away with a duvet cover that she just bought. But it was just the way that it was packaged and lying on her back seat, you know, that looked very attractive, and that was an opportunity that the guy went out. So put everything away, not just your valuables and stuff like that, but everything.
But the incident with the child, apparently this was the first of its kind in the country. Like, what do you make of that now?
Well, that is actually very scary, you know. There must be something going on in the back that that's causing people now to start looking at other targets and not just stuff anymore now, but children as well. So that is very scary that has happened now, and we hope that that was a once-off incident, you know, and that it won't happen again.
Earlier we spoke with someone about tinting your windows, and I believe that is illegal in this country. Is that so?
No, that will actually help. It all depends on what type of tinting you put on. So just go to your local, fitment center that does those things, and then just ask them about it. But depending on what you put on, you can stay within the legal bounds.
All right. Again, I know I asked this earlier. For people who want to join you, give us the details. Okay,
so it's very simple. You go to the website, www.safen2.co.za. And on there you will have a button that you can just press that goes you to the downloading the app. If the app is not compatible to your phone, you can just register on the website, and then we will put you onto the WhatsApp system. But the app allows us to, where with the WhatsApp, every single broadcast that we send out you will receive, and with the app you're able to choose your channels. So if you only travel the N2 and you only want updates on the N2, then you are able to do that. The app also has an emergency button. So should there be a situation where you need to, let someone know or whatever, you can just push the panic button. That goes through to our control room, and we are then able to respond on that, because we will have your location, we will know what your incident is, and we will be able to alert or to rally up resources to be able to help.
I see. And has it worked before?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, as a matter of fact, we had another person who reported a lady that had an accident. And before these people could actually, they didn't even know who to phone or who to contact or whatever, but before they could even think of who to phone, we had already received that incident. We notified authorities, and they were on scene to help them without them even picking up a phone. So that is just the power of people looking out for people. Is where I see something today that'll help you, tomorrow you see something that's going to help me. And so we just take that into our system, we validate it, and in real time we just send it out to just help everybody as much as possible. The power of information and knowledge can save a life.
Yes, definitely. Your final words to the motorist, Neil. One thing, the most important thing they need to remember during that situation.
It's very easy to say stay calm, but you know what? You never know how it is, and you never know what happens. Your mind starts working faster than what your body can respond, or that's at least how it feels like, and you feel like you're fumbling over everything. Sometimes slow is better, so just slow down and try and stay calm, and draw attention.
That's it. Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Your time
Lucy.
is highly appreciated. We hope you found tonight's show interesting. That's all we have time for this evening. Let's keep the conversation going on our social media platforms. Tweet us at Our City City, or find us on Our City City on Facebook. From me, Busisiwe Mtaban, have a good evening. Peace.